Hi, my name is Elaine, and this is my food, culture, and health presentation. I was born in New Zealand but raised in Australia, where I experienced both cultures. Life in both countries emphasized community, outdoor living, and a hardworking attitude. Growing up, we spoke English, and Australian culture emphasized mateship, outdoor activities, and social connections. Most of my childhood was constantly moving because my father and grandfather worked in mining towns in Western Queensland. These relocations taught me adaptability and gave me an appreciation for different communities, something that influences how I engage with people today. This presentation focuses on Afghans, a subgroup within South Central Asians. Afghanistan is ethnically diverse, home to Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, and others who shape its rich cultural heritage. A common misconception is that Afghanistan is an Arab country, but while it is not part of the Arab world, it shares historical and cultural ties with Iran, Pakistan, and Central Asia. Afghan culture values family, hospitality, and community, influencing daily life, social interactions, and traditions. Due to instability and migration, I will examine both Afghans and Afghanistan, who face food insecurity, malnutrition, and limited health care, and Afghan refugees in the US, who struggle with adapting to a new food system, economic barriers, and health literacy challenges. I chose this population because of the large Afghan student community at Grossmont College, my interest in Afghan culture, and my desire to help students and community members navigate challenges in the US. Through this work, I hope to provide meaningful support to Afghan students and diaspora communities. Afghanistan is a Muslim majority country, 99.7%, where Islam influences laws, traditions, and daily life. Family, hospitality, and respect for elders are at the core of Afghan culture. Afghan society is also ethnically diverse, with Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, and others. Tribal and ethnic identity often holds more significance than national identity. Family is central. Decisions prioritize family honor and well-being. Hospitality, mastia, offering food, shelter, and protection is a moral duty. Resilience. Afghans maintain strong family ties and traditions despite ongoing hardship. Understanding these values is essential when working with Afghan communities. Food in Afghan society is more than sustenance. It's hospitality, tradition, and community. Naan, flatbread, a staple, served at every meal. Chalao, steamed basmati rice, paired with stews or yogurt. Ash, noodle and lentil soup, a typical hearty dish. Legumes, lentils, chickpeas, kidney beans. A key protein source, especially for families who eat little meat. Dairy, yogurt, balances rich dishes. Tea chai, a hospitality symbol served throughout the day. For Afghan refugees, maintaining traditional food practices is essential for cultural identity and well-being, but accessing these foods in the US can be challenging. Food is central to Afghan culture, deeply tied to celebrations, traditions, and life's significant moments. Holidays like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha emphasize hospitality and generosity, with dishes like sheer kurma, pulao, and kebabs symbolizing communal spirit and charity. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, marks renewal with meals like sabzi polo and fish, reinforcing family bonds and cultural heritage. Beyond celebrations, food plays a vital role in life transitions. Postpartum traditions prioritize nutrient-rich meals, such as korma and dried fruits, to support recovery and lactation. More than just nourishment, food in Afghan culture represents connection, care, and the preservation of traditions across generations. Afghanistan faces severe health challenges, with an average life expectancy of 59.1 years. Malnutrition is a leading cause of child mortality, contributing to nearly 45% of deaths in children under 5, primarily due to poor feeding practices, food insecurity, and infectious diseases. Non-communicable diseases, NCDs, and maternal health complications account for nearly 46% of all deaths, with cardiovascular disease being the most common. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are growing concerns, disproportionately affecting both men and women. Limited access to healthcare and essential medications worsens these chronic conditions, making them significant public health concerns. Maternal health remains one of the most critical public health challenges in Afghanistan. The country has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. A 2018 health survey found that infections, 24%, obstetric hemorrhage, 23%, and abortion complications, 19%, are the leading causes of death for women aged 12 to 49. The lack of quality prenatal and emergency obstetric care contributes significantly to these preventable deaths. Injuries, including those from ongoing conflict and accidents, also account for a large share of deaths, making up 17.3% of total mortality in 2019. The effects of war, displacement, and unsafe living conditions continue to threaten lives across the country. While these figures provide insight into Afghanistan's health challenges, data collection remains limited, making it difficult to assess the full scope of these issues. Strengthening healthcare infrastructure, improving maternal care, and addressing chronic diseases are essential steps to reducing preventable deaths and improving overall public health in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's food insecurity crisis has led to widespread malnutrition, particularly among children. Over 38% of children suffer from stunted growth, while 9.5% experience wasting, a severe form of malnutrition. Micronutrient deficiencies, including a lack of vitamin A, vitamin D, and iron, contribute to high rates of anemia in adolescent girls, increasing risks during pregnancy and early childhood development. Maternal and infant nutrition remains a challenge, with only half of Afghan infants under 6 months exclusively breastfed, leaving many vulnerable to disease. Poor sanitation and limited clean water further exacerbate malnutrition by increasing the spread of infectious diseases like diarrhea. Although there have been some improvements in stunting reduction and breastfeeding rates, Afghanistan still struggles with high infant mortality, undernutrition, and diet-related non-communicable diseases. With 9% of women and 4% of men facing obesity and 14% of adults affected by diabetes, the country faces a growing double burden of malnutrition. Addressing these issues requires urgent efforts to improve food security, maternal nutrition, and healthcare access to protect the health of Afghanistan's most vulnerable populations. Since the Taliban's return in 2021, Afghanistan has faced severe economic and humanitarian crises, leading to the collapse of public health and nutrition programs. The withdrawal of international aid has worsened food insecurity, especially for women and children who are disproportionately affected by malnutrition. Restrictions on women's education and employment have further limited their ability to provide proper nutrition for their families. Many Afghan refugees in the U.S. arrive with nutritional deficiencies and struggle to adapt to an unfamiliar food system. Their diets, once based on fresh, home-cooked meals, often shift to processed high-carbohydrate foods, increasing the risk of obesity, diabetes, and other diet-related illnesses. To support Afghan families, nutrition programs and counseling strategies have been developed. The Afghan Dasturkhan Toolkit provides budgeting tips, nutrition education, and healthy Afghan recipes, while the Afghan Nutrition Guide helps healthcare providers offer culturally relevant nutrition counseling. Additionally, Afghanistan's national food-based dietary guidelines promote balanced meals while encouraging reduced sugar and salt intake, helping refugees maintain their cultural food traditions while improving their overall health. Healthcare providers help Afghan families adopt healthier eating habits while preserving cultural traditions by integrating traditional foods into dietary counseling. Beyond individual counseling, community programs, workshops, and halal food pantries provide practical nutrition education and culturally appropriate food options. These resources also support the broader Afghan American community, blending traditional food practices with evidence-based nutrition to promote better health while maintaining cultural identity. Providing nutrition counseling to the Afghan population requires understanding cultural beliefs and food taboos. Things to consider are Islamic dietary laws, halal, no pork or alcohol. Some regional food restrictions exist. Language and health literacy barriers. Many Afghans struggle with Western medical terminology, requiring visual aids, interpreters, and straightforward explanations. Mistrust of Western medicine. Some prefer home remedies and are hesitant about dietary changes. Understanding these factors helps healthcare providers build trust and provide culturally appropriate care. Afghan culture values herbal and food-based healing, using ginger, black seeds, yogurt, and honey for digestion and immunity. Postpartum traditions emphasize nutrient-rich foods like korma and dried fruits for recovery. Effective nutrition counseling should integrate traditional foods, involve family decision makers, and build trust through culturally sensitive approaches. Practical guidance using familiar foods helps Afghan families make healthier choices while preserving their traditions. Afghan food culture is deeply tied to tradition, family, and hospitality, strengthening community bonds through shared meals. Similar to my experiences growing up in Australia and New Zealand, food plays a key role in cultural identity. I chose to focus on Afghan communities due to the large student population at Grossmont College, where I see challenges in adjusting to a new food system. My own experiences with cultural adaptation helped me understand the importance of preserving identity, something many Afghan refugees face in the U.S. Despite its rich food traditions, malnutrition and food insecurity remain major issues. Economic instability and barriers like language and unfamiliar grocery systems make maintaining a balanced diet difficult for Afghan families. In the U.S., resources like the Afghan Dasturkhan Toolkit and Afghan Nutrition Guide help bridge gaps by providing nutrition education, culturally relevant guidance, and halal food support. Collaboration between healthcare providers and community organizations can help Afghan families adapt while preserving their traditions and improving well being. Thank you